In Korea, you can walk alone at 3 in the morning without fear of being mugged. But if you cross on a red light, you're screwed. And it's not an exaggeration. Everyone looks at you as if you spat on their mother or farted in a closed elevator. Embarrassing, right? And you still think Coreia is a real-life drama? You know nothing. Innocent one. Ha ha ha. There. No one shouts, no one kisses in public, no one hugs. It's as if the whole country lives in silent mode. While at Brazil's carnival, we barely say hi and we're already kissing, with some making out behind the little church. In Korea, if you try that on the street, you might end up becoming a tourist attraction. But the kinds that makes you feel second-hand embarrassment, you know? So get ready, because today I'm going to tell you the things you should never do in South Korea. 1. Public displays of affection. One of the first things you will notice in Korea is that people are quite different when it comes to public displays of affection. Like holding hands, giving a quick hug, a light kiss, that's fine. No one will look at you funny. But if things heat up and you try a soap opera kiss in the middle of the street, then you're in trouble. In Korea, this is seen as disrespectful. There's no law against it, but it's the kind of thing that makes everyone around stiffen their necks and pretend they didn't see while actually seeing. While in Paris, couples almost devour each other on the sidewalk, in Seoul, it would be like watching an adult scene in front of your grandmother. You know that talk about men and women can't just be friends? Well, in Korea, that practically doesn't exist. There, if a guy and a girl are walking together, smiling, exchanging giggles, that's it. People already assume it's dating, marriage, and maybe even the name of the first child. There's no such thing as pure friendship. People there are very reserved, with personal life and emotions in public. So if you go there, it's ideal to activate the discreet affection mode. No cinematic kisses on the subway, nor 3-minute hugs in the middle of the square. Inside the house it's fine. On the street, hold back or it will look like you're filming a forbidden romantic drama, if you know what I mean. 2. Crossing on red is a sin. In Korea, crossing on a red light is like cursing the mother of traffic, even if it's 5 in the morning, raining, and there are zombies running after you. If the light is red, people simply wait, standing still, patient, zen, while I, and probably you too, in other countries, the yellow light is already a go, run before it closes. But not there. In Korea, the red light is almost sacred. Koreans follow the signal as if it were a divine commandment. Red means stop, green means go. No shortcuts, no quick fixes, nobody's watching. And the funniest thing is that they really do look at you, you know? If you cross on red thinking you're being cool, you'll feel that collective look like, look at the foreign delinquent there destroying the harmony of society. I saw a video of a true Korean. The guy refused to cross the street at 5 in the morning with the light red. There wasn't a car, not even a cat, and he just said, "In Korea, we don't do that." And that was it. End of story. For them, it's not a matter of fear, it's respect. And it even makes sense, you know? Years ago, 2 foreigners were skateboarding in Itaewon, gained speed and bam, hit a truck. No one died, but the driver was traumatized, thinking he had taken someone's life. Since then, crossing outside the crosswalk or on a red light has become almost a moral crime. It doesn't result in a fine, but something much worse. Judgmental looks worthy of a Korean drama. 3. No shoes inside the house. If there's one thing you need to know before going to Korea, it's this. Shoes do not enter the house. No way. And this doesn't apply only to houses. Many cafes, inns, and even some offices also follow this rule. Right at the entrance, you'll see a mat, a shelf, and sometimes even a pair of slippers waiting for you. It's the universal sign. Take off your shoes, please. For those coming from outside, it may seem excessive, but for them, it's simply a matter of cleanliness and respect. The floor of the house is considered an almost sacred space. It's where you sit, lie down, eat, relax. So entering with the same shoes that walked on the street is like bringing the city's dust into the soul of the house. And this etiquette goes further. In Coreia, putting feet on public seats, like benches, train, or subway chairs, also draws a lot of attention. You know those people who do this in the cinema, resting their legs on the seat in front as if they were at their mom's house? Don't do that, okay? Koreans consider it rude, even if the shoes are clean. There are foreigners who complain about this, saying, "But my shoes match my outfit." Well, there you go. However, in Coreia, style does not outweigh tradition. It's better to set aesthetics aside and follow etiquette. After all, no one wants to be remembered as the tourist who brought street dirt onto someone else's sofa. 4. Don't wait for the bill at the table. If you finish eating in Coreia and wait for the waiter to bring the bill, my friend, sit comfortably because you will wait until the next eclipse. There, the system is different. Finished eating? Get up and go straight to the counter to pay, without calling the waiter, without bringing the card machine, without whistling and saying, "Bring the bill." Saikiri-se, sabte, shh. Oh, and don't keep exchanging desperate glances with the waiter, like a crush who ghosted you. Get up, go to the counter, and pay. It's simple, direct, and fast, Korean style. They value efficiency above all. Ate, paid, left. And most curiously, no one will think you're rude for getting up and leaving. In fact, they will think you're smart. Like, look, the foreigner got the hang of it. Now, try doing the opposite in London, for example. The waiter always brings the bill to the table, and sometimes you end up stuck there waiting 20 or 30 minutes until someone remembers to charge you. In Coreia, this kind of delay would be unthinkable. Of course, there are some more touristy restaurants that follow the Western way, but most of the time it's at the counter.
And you know what? It works.
Avoids confusion, saves time, and no one needs to pretend to be friendly to earn a tip. 5. Silence in public transportation. If you're going to ride the subway in Coreia, start practicing silent mode. There, public transportation is not a place for gossiping, laughing loudly, or discussing weekend plans. It's practically a temple on rails. As soon as you enter, the silence is so great that you can hear the sound of your own regret for forgetting your headphones. People stay quiet, each in their own little world, some watching dramas, others staring at nothing, and the rest pretending to be busy to avoid socializing. If you're with a friend, you can talk, but very quietly, like whispering a secret at a funeral. Because if you raise your voice, my friend, you'll feel the power of the Korean look of disapproval. No words needed, just that look of, "Look at the rude foreigner." And there's more. The priority seats are sacred territory. They are the seats near the door, usually 3 on each side, and they belong to the elderly by divine right. If you sit there thinking it's empty, be careful. The looks will shoot daggers at you even before the train leaves the station. Oh, and there's the pink seat reserved for pregnant women. Even if the carriage is packed and people are hanging on like ripe bananas, that seat remains there, empty, waiting for the owner of the belly to appear. It's respect, not laziness. And of course, no putting your feet on the seat, leaving a giant backpack in the aisle, or taking up someone else's space. Public transportation in Coreia is almost a test of civilization. There, less is more. Less noise, less movement, less chaos. It's as if everyone has signed an invisible contract saying, "Stay in your own space, and we all arrive in peace, or almost in peace, until the first tourist forgets and answers the phone shouting, 'Hello, Mom. I'm on the subway in Coreia.' 6. Clothes, necklines, and glances. This is a question many people have before going to Coreia. Is it true that showing cleavage is frowned upon there? The answer is, it depends. In the summer, people wear shorts, short skirts, and tight t-shirts. No problem. But cleavage, that's another story. Front cleavage is still a taboo for the older crowd. It's like the rule of Korean boomers. You can show your legs, but the chest is a national treasure, not to be displayed. For foreigners, they even overlook it. But if you are a woman and go out with a more open top, you will feel some curious glances. That classic, how daring, huh? It's not aggressive, it's just silent judgment with a look of someone thinking. In my time, that would lead to moral imprisonment. And there was even a good story. A foreigner was wearing low-rise pants and a top showing her belly. Then a little Korean lady looked at her, tapped her on the shoulder, and said all worried, "Dear, you forgot to close your pants." The woman had to explain that it was fashion, and the elderly lady walked away shaking her head like, youth is really over. Now, imagine this little lady taking a stroll here in Brazil. Poor thing, she would have a heart attack before reaching the beach. Because here, my dear, the shorts are so tight they divide everything. It's like parting the Red Sea, showing even the uterus. And the worst part is, they still call it casual fashion. Just a tip. Wear whatever you want. But if you're going to a temple, subway, or office, take a jacket. Avoid discomfort and maintain the peace of Korean husbands. And at work, common sense is universal. Nothing too sexy, nothing that distracts the boss. Because in Korea, even being modern, the saying still holds. Respecting the context is the best accessory. Hey, do me a favor. Send this video to that friend of yours who only knows how to leave the house showing off and testing other men's necks. In Korea, that doesn't work very well, you know. 7. Give and receive with both hands. In Korea, even the way you hand something over says a lot about your respect for the other person. Here in Brazil, we have that affectionate tradition of tossing any object to a friend and shouting, "Hold on, dude." Yeah, well, do that there, and the Korean has a mini cultural heart attack. Whenever you give or receive something, the right way is to use both hands. It's not fussiness, it's respect. It could be a card, a drink, change, a gift, whatever. It's not just about manners, it's a sign of attention and humility. It's as if you're saying through gestures, what I'm giving you has value, and I respect you enough to show it. For those not used to it, it may seem too formal, but for them, it's natural. And the most interesting thing is that no one expects a foreigner to know this. So when we do the gesture correctly, they are delighted. It's the kind of detail that shows you really care about the local culture. No stretching out your arm and tossing things with one hand like passing the salt at a barbecue. In Korea, this simple care with both hands makes all the difference, and it's the kind of small gesture that opens big doors. 8. No namaste. This is the classic international tourist faux pas. You arrive all polite in Korea, put your hands together at your chest, and give that yoga movie namaste. There you go. You just greeted the wrong country. In Korea, this is not a local custom. Namaste is typical of India and part of Southeast Asia, not the Korean peninsula. Koreans greet each other differently, with a slight bow, inclining the body. It is a simple gesture, but it carries a lot of meaning. It shows respect, politeness, and acknowledgement of the other person. No putting your hands together like in a yoga movie. If you want to greet politely, just make a small bow with your head or torso. And if you are in front of someone older, a teacher or a superior at work, it's ideal to bow a little more. Simple, quick, and elegant. It's a common mistake among foreigners who think Asia is all the same. But for them, these gestures have historical and cultural significance. In Korea, bowing is a greeting. Namaste is a charming misconception. So if you want to appear polite, save the palms together for meditation and practice the Korean bow. 9. Do not tip. This is especially for American tourists. In Korea, tipping does not exist literally. You eat, pay what is on the menu, and that's it. No need for the famous American tips. No rounding up the amount, leaving some coins on the table, or trying to be polite by offering extra. There, this simply isn't part of the culture. In fact, leaving a tip might even cause a bit of embarrassment. Some employees might think you made a mistake and will run after you to return the change. Can you imagine the scene? Others might think you're trying to buy special treatment, if you know what I mean, you little rascal. In other words, the intention might be good, but the gesture is misinterpreted. This happens because in Korea the service is already included in the price. Providing good service is an obligation, not a bonus that depends on the customer. They see the work as part of the commitment and not something that needs extra reward. In Korea, as strange as it may seem to those coming from countries where the waiter lives off tips, in Korea it's simple. You pay the amount, and that's the end of it. No awkwardness, no keep the change, no theatrics. The bill is exact, and respect remains intact. I often say that where I live, it's like this. Money in hand, panties on the floor. No money seen, panties go up. 10. Don't be offended if they ask your age. In Korea, asking someone's age is not considered rude, you know? It's almost a civic duty. It seems strange to us, but there, it's completely normal. After, "Hi, how are you?" comes, "How old are you?" And it's not curiosity, it's social etiquette. This happens because Korean society operates based on age hierarchy. Knowing a person's age is what determines how you will speak to them. The Korean language changes depending on the relationship. There are different words and endings to address someone older, younger, or of the same age. So, if a Korean asks your age right away, don't take it personally. They are not judging you or trying to embarrass you. They are just trying to figure out how to address you. In the West, that would be a problem. Imagine asking a woman her age right at the first meeting. The least you get is a hateful look and silence and a passive-aggressive polite rejection. But in Korea, it's the opposite. Not knowing the age and treating someone inappropriately can be seen as disrespect. It's almost like calling your boss dude or responding to your grandmother with "what's up." If I talk like that to my mom, I'd get a slap on the mouth immediately. So when someone asks how old you are, answer without fear. It's just part of the social ritual. 11. Don't expect to chat with strangers. If you're the type who loves to strike up a conversation with the bus driver, the cashier at the market, or the stranger next to you on the subway in Korea, my friend, it's better to keep that talent to yourself. It would be difficult for me because I make friends even in the bread line. And if the line takes too long, I leave with 3 new contacts to invite to the next barbecue. But that's not the case. Koreans don't have the habit of talking to strangers. And it's not coldness, it's custom. They are very respectful of personal space and prefer to avoid any situation that might seem invasive. Even eye contact is another story. Looking someone in the eyes for too long can seem strange, or even a challenge, while for us, it's a sign of trust. It can sound like confrontation. Can you imagine yourself all smiling, looking a Korean deeply in the eyes, thinking you're making friends? He will think you're going to ask to borrow money or invite him to some crazy cult. Places like New York, where people stop you on the street to chat or compliment your coat. In Korea, that simply doesn't happen. Everyone minds their own business, earphones in, eyes on the ground, and focus on the destination. And the most curious thing is that for them, this is not a lack of empathy, it's respect. They believe that silence is a form of politeness, not coldness. So, if you are there and no one starts a conversation, don't take it personally. They are not ignoring you, they are just following Korean social etiquette. 12. Be careful with street approaches. This is one of those tips that seems exaggerated until you experience it yourself. In Korea, there is a type of approach that often catches foreigners off guard. People who are too friendly. Out of nowhere, they appear smiling, offering spiritual conversations, fortune readings, or invitations to a friendship club. Seems innocent, right? Then you think, oh, what polite people. Finally, someone wanting to be my friend. Spoiler, it's not friendship, it's recruitment. Yes, we are talking about cults, and they exist there just like anywhere else in the world. These people approach very politely, start with light talk about your country, your faith, your life. And before you know it, you're sitting in a cafe hearing about a special meeting of divine energy. And the divine energy is the cult's monthly fee. If someone stops you on the street offering a palm reading, a coffee to talk about spirituality, or an opportunity to make new friends, thank them, smile, and walk away, or run, right? Because in Coreia, the kinder the approach, the greater the chance of it being a spiritual trap, brother. And there's a cultural detail. Koreans in general do not approach strangers on the street without a reason, so if someone does that, it's already a good sign to be alert. 13. Avoid symbols related to Japan. This is a delicate topic, especially for those who are not familiar with the history between Corea and Japan. So, here's an important tip. Avoid using or displaying anything with the symbol of the rising sun flag. For outsiders, it seems like just a pretty design, a sun with some red rays coming out of it, but in fact, it is the old war flag of the Japanese Empire. And during the period when Corea was occupied from 1910 to 1945, this symbol became a painful reminder of domination, violence, and national humiliation. Therefore, even today, it is viewed with deep discomfort, especially by the older generation. For a Korean, seeing this symbol is like seeing someone walking in Warsaw with a swastika on their shirt or parading in Tel Aviv with the face of that man with the little mustache printed on their chest. It's that level of historical insensitivity. Every now and then, a tourist shows up with a shirt or backpack with this design, not knowing what it means. No one will curse at you, but the heavy looks will come. So, pay attention to the prints. The modern flag of Japan, the simple red circle, that's fine. But the one with the sun and red rays, leave that out of the suitcase. It's a simple gesture, but it shows respect, because understanding a people's history and not stepping on it unintentionally is the basic of empathy. 14. No catcalling on the street. This is simple but essential. In Korea, there is no catcalling, the famous street pickup lines. No one whistles, shouts, "Oh, princess," nor sends that classic, "Smile, beautiful, the sun has been up for a while." And if you do, my friend, you can prepare your return visa, because the look of disapproval comes faster than immigration. Even in lively places like Hongdae or Itaewon, this kind of thing is extremely rude. Koreans value discretion, respect, and silence. So, any attempt at flirting in public seems invasive, even if you think you're being cute. Although I have witnessed this type of situation in London and the United States and, of course, during Brazil's carnival, where even unattractive women get hit on with "my goddess," I have never seen this happen in Corea, and if it does happen, the result is the same. Awkward silence, sideways glances like, "What a clueless foreigner." Jokes, flirting, or random approaches on Korean streets simply do not align with the local culture. There, respect speaks louder, and silence even more so. I want to know who the survivors are who made it this far, so comment South Korea, so I know you're one of them. If you enjoyed learning these curiosities, share this video with everyone. Just don't forget to click on this one that's appearing on the screen. There you'll find even weirder stuff. Thanks, and see you later.